Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another stream. Thank you guys once again for tuning in. Do appreciate it. Apologize, probably got a little bit of bedhead. Actually, I don't apologize because I really just don't care. All right, good morning. So we'll wait a few minutes for some people to stroll on in, and then we'll get started. Pretty much continuing on with earnings right now. Pretty much is going to be playing earnings reports for the day. PLAB, PLCE, Play, AEO. A lot of P's in there. Dave & Buster's has had earnings today, so we'll be watching that one. But it's primarily going to be an earnings report day. Market's probably going to be bullish today, so if you're trading anything else, you're probably going to remain long bias on as long as they're in long bias setups. So yeah, it's going to be we're going to have a good day. It's going to be a good day. That's all I got to say. And we know for a fact that YouTube is not doing their job today because we only have about 6 people in since we started the stream. So we know that YouTube is failing to do their job once again. You know, if they were an employee, they would really suck. They'd really suck. Well, I guess we'll get started, and when YouTube figures out how to do their job correctly, and all will be well. All right, let's get into it. So first stock that we can take a look at, PLCE. We're just going to kind of cruise through some of these. So PLCE is an earnings report from 73 down to 56. That's a pretty big gap down. We're going to be watching this both long and both short. Right now it's into a 52-week low, so there is no support for the stock over the past year. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look further. What's going on? Roger Cross, what's going on? Cody Hall. We're going to look back. We're going to look left. We're going to see if there's anything that could possibly be support. 3 years, there's no support. Let's go further. What about 10 years? 10 years will do it. So we got down to about 58. So yeah, what's happened is we have just come all the way down into this big ass consolidation point for the stock. All right, so we are getting down into a support area. For long-term investors, I mean, this is where they're going to start probably buying up the stock. They're going to start trying to come in and buy it up. All right, so today we're going to be following PLCE, both long and short. You have a nice top here pre-market. Well, it's actually, it's pre-market. So you have a nice top pre-market. And this will definitely act as a resistance. So that's going to be a significant point in the day. If the price goes to the bull side, if we go long out of the gates, the 62 is going to be an important level to get over, all right? Or for short sellers, it'll be an important level to stay under, and then obviously the pre-market low. So those would be like the 2 main points that I'd be watching for market open, depending on the direction that PLC chooses to trade in, okay? Alrighty, next one on the list. We could do AEO, sure. American Eagle Outfitter. So this one's a little bit cheaper. This is a 15, well, was 15, 16, jumps all the way down to 13, 14. So again, watching this both long and short. Now, American Eagle Outfitter has been a while since I've watched it trade. I can't really visualize how well it traded on earnings and if it was more of a pain in the ass than it was fun. So I don't know if I'm actually going to trade it or not, but I'm definitely going to watch it. So this jumped all the way down to about 1350. So we're holding support kind of in this previous drop zone. So we are at a support level, which typically we would bounce. But again, this is an earnings report. So first I'd be watching it short bias. If the short fails, then I'd be watching it long bias. And the go-to short is pretty much going to be below these red levels that we just put on the chart. Okay. All right, on to the next one, which is going to be PLAB, PLAB. So this is another one. Ooh, figures. So I was going to watch this one short bias today, or just initially, actually, I wanted to watch a short bias. Anyways, this is a earnings report. There's really no volume on it right now. Doesn't mean that it won't pick up, but the stock is into a new all-time high. So, yeah. It's into a new all-time high. Normally, I would say watch a new all-time high push long bias, but since there's really no volume and there's a lot of gapping going on in this gap up, I would normally say to follow it short bias. All right, so that's PLAB, and then we also have Play, which is Dave & Buster's. Right now, to me, the chart does seem a little bit more bullish than bearish. In terms of the formation, in terms of where the actual pricing is at, it's more of a bear right now. but going to be watching this one long. Play's been in this consolidation channel for a long time. Last earnings report, they got bought up. Right now we're into this earnings report. I do believe we're going to see a long push, maybe even back towards the 42 mark. So none other than watching play long. And then lastly, we're going to put on PCG here. So as long as PCG doesn't sell down, it's actually a decent formation. We'll see. Anyway, so if you look at like a 5-day chart, you have this gap up, pull back, round up, top out, jump back up. I mean, this honestly is just a big ass cup and handle pattern, right? You have a big cup and handle, and I believe we might see PCG break out today to the upside. So this would be one of the main stocks that I would watch today too for this move into a new high. But again, there's more to it, but this is the pattern and situation and movement that I'm looking for today on PCG. Will it happen? Will I get it? Maybe, maybe not. If I get it, great. If we don't, who cares? All right, so those are all the plays right there. Mr. Custom, there are plenty of stocks in the stock market to play. Just by playing Tesla is not the only stock that I would like to play. So you telling me to play Tesla does nothing for me. Okay, you've said, and there's nothing against it. You've said this to me multiple weeks. Just play this stock. Just play that stock. No. PCG, yep, did have good moves yesterday. CLVS. Now CLVS, we've seen over the past week kind of jump up. But again, yeah, this is also what I was mentioning, is that we're having a bounce on CLVS, right? And this is kind of a main point to get over. So, I mean, pretty much the way this goes is if CLVS wants to continue actually moving up and getting over 17, it's going to create a consolidational formation first, which may never actually lead to a break over 17, right? So look at the move down. We have strong move down, slight little bounce, move down. Now we're getting back up, right? So there's a mini inverse head and shoulders. Normally you would see something like this. Then we'd go up like that, and then you would redo pattern formation. So pretty much there is no, I mean, again, it all depends, right? So this is very early. You're just very, very early in any sort of formation or pattern right now. So the only way you can really go about trading something like this was just to buy the dip and then hope that it goes up, and then it creates a consolidational pattern, and then you end up going long bias on it, right? So for me, I would not be really long on this stock until we're getting back up and at least testing highs of 17, 18. And I wouldn't be really short biased on it now until we're at least going up and testing and failing the highs of 18, or we're coming back down and starting to break this low, or we're breaking this low depending on the setup. So again, like I said, it's early, it's in formation. There's a lot of things that can happen, but for now it would be, for me, long over the highs after we get up there and after we play around for a bit. It'd be a short below the lows after we fail the top here or fail here. So again, CLVS is just in a bounce right now. Not much more to it. Not much more to it. How do I feel about SPT into Fed later? What does SPT even stand for? I'm not sure what SPT means. I probably do, but I don't understand the abbreviation. So feel free to enlighten me. I would love to learn. TCCO continuation, most likely not. It could, but most likely not. I wouldn't really follow for continuation. No, if anything, I'd probably just be short bias of stock. But again, even being short bias on it, it's not gonna. Again, I have a video coming out later today, which in reality should become one of the highest viewed videos on YouTube, but it won't because somehow magically all my greatest videos never seem to get views. I don't understand it. I really just don't understand how some of the greatest content can get the littlest views. But anyways, the video that's going to come out later today on TCCO is basically going to describe exactly how you know when a stock, and literally, like I know everyone first coming into trading, you're always like, well, how do you know? How do you know it's going to go up? And the answer usually is we never really know. But this is the time when I can safely say you pretty much 90% of the chance know for sure it's going up. So who on earth would not watch a video relating to stock trading that pretty much tells you you're 90% sure stock's going to go up? I mean, I don't know. But anyways, later today we're going to do a video on TCCO that'll explain to you that when you're using the TD Ameritrade platform, if you do all these cross references, you'll be able to figure out if a stock is a long on the day versus a short 90% of the time. So as yesterday, we mentioned in chat to watch TCCO long, and then midday right here, once I figured out what was going on, I was like, okay, this is a long, and then told people to watch for the cup and handle. A couple traders got it. I didn't trade the breakout there because I was too busy explaining the stock to everybody, but there was a good move there, right? Anyways, I would remain short bias on the stock, but I can tell you the short is not going to be, it most likely won't be very easy for you to make a win on the short. It's going to end up kind of chopping around, just like you've seen yesterday, kind of very aggressively chopping. And anyways, so a video is going to come out later today on how do you find out if stocks are going to be a long in the day. Okay. Where is that video? It's in my head. I haven't yet made it yet. Alrighty. Yep, it should be, have a clickbait title. You know, and that's the thing is like when it comes to YouTube, right? Really, there's really a couple things. It's clickbait. It really is. It's a really captivating thumbnail. A little bit about the title, but at the end of the day, it's literally it's the likes, because the YouTube algorithm looks at the likes because viewership is the most important thing to YouTube. If viewers like the content or don't like the content, because viewers are what YouTube needs on their platform in order for platform to stay alive. YouTube doesn't, and YouTube needs content creators like myself, right? And so the more likes something gets, that's what tells YouTube that these people actually like what he's putting out, and then that's how. So again, it's literally the click on the video that really does it for you. I think, I don't know. I'm not a pro at YouTube, that's for sure. But anyways, we'll come out that video a little bit later. But for TCCO, I would also pretty much just say to the downside. I wouldn't. I mean, you could watch it long. There might be some long moves, but I really wouldn't watch it. And there's a couple other penny stocks that are kind of moving today, right? We have SFET. This is a shit stock. I mean, maybe it goes up, but it's really a garbage stock. You probably don't want to watch it. CEI is also moving today. This is okay. It's better than SFET. So if you were going to watch between SFET and CEI, I would probably pick CEI myself. But again, it's still a shit stock. It's not a good setup. It's not like TCCO yesterday where I take one look and I go, yeah, that's a long, right? See, these things I have to question. When you have to question it, it's probably already not something you're going to want to be trading, right? So CEI, meh, not really that great. Pinterest at 18. I thought last time I saw it was at like 20 something. Definitely was at 20 something last time I seen it. And they got hit with it. Yeah, I mean, Pinterest is just going down right now. Yeah, I couldn't say get long on it. I just have to stay bearish on it. We have the earnings report. We're breaking down. We're trending down. There's no signs of the trend reversing at this moment in time. So I would just remain bearish on the stock for right now. Whoa, hold on. FTSV, that was the other day. Oh, it did move into a little bit more of a high yesterday. Nice. And down, up. I mean, something to note. So again, I don't know, but this is a stock where I would say you're probably going to want to remain long-term, long bias, but like in the micro or the short term, I would say you're getting to a bear move. And part of the reason why is if you look at this already, I'm just going to draw a trend line all the way up. You see that? You see that trend line? Like that? All right, then we come here. Look at this trend line. So it's not the biggest or the most relevant bearish divergence. And even still, it's a little inaccurate. So let me redo this. Ready? Watch this. Okay. Maybe become a little bit more clear. Look from here to this point. And from this point to that point, you're down, right? So you're moving up, moving down, divergence, smack down. Okay, now let's go over a little bit more. Actually, I don't even know if we can call. Yeah, I mean, you kind of can, but you'd have to start from these 2 points. And so we're starting to trend down again while the price is still trying to kind of go up here. So you're starting to get some divergences. They're not really big. They're not super prominent. So maybe they won't actually really have an effect on the stock. But I would say probably to stay more bullish over the course of the long term. But there is most likely going to be somewhat of a decent pullback that would bring the prices, I'm assuming, down 28s, 26s or something, back to the 24s. So, and that's the thing. If you look at FTSV yesterday, there wasn't really a whole lot of volume. It didn't really have the greatest. I mean, it had a great trading day. It did. A great movement for the day to the upside. But it's not something I would want to trade myself. Oh, going into the what do I think about the SPY go? I don't think anything. I still see our markets moving higher. Like I said, I think we're just in the last stages of our bull market. We're in the market melt up phase where, I mean, there's so many different scenarios and so many things you can play out with the market. And just remember, like, whether you're a bullish person or bearish person, you want a recession, you don't want a recession, you think a recession is going to come, you've called for a recession to happen, which I've been there. I've called for one to happen, and I still do. I still do call for bad economic times, right? The only people that I shake my head at are the ones that are just consistent perma bulls. Well, you should always pretty much be a perma bull in the grand scheme of things, but you know, the deniers of a recession just blow my mind because it's inevitable. It's naturally inevitable. So, what do I think about the SPY going? I don't think anything. What happens on the Fed day, you know, trading can be a little odd on the Fed days, but whatever happens on the Fed day doesn't really matter. The market's going to recover fairly quickly, or digest it very quickly is a better way of saying that. The Fed's probably just not going to raise interest rate. I mean, I can already tell you what's going to happen. They're not going to raise interest rates most likely. They're not going to lower interest rates most likely. They're going to say that based on current economic data, we feel that the economy is strong and there's no need for a rate cut. There's no need for a rate increase. And we see that our target inflation remains at 2%. So basically what they're saying is in our current monetary policy where our system is built off a fiat currency that actually holds no true value, we are consistently keeping our inflation target at 2%, which allows us to steal 2% of your buying power per year. But we need to have that inflation because we live on a fiat monetary policy system, which is basically nothing. It's thin air pieces of paper that don't actually mean anything. That is why we also need the 2% inflation. But if we lived on a monetary policy where you actually couldn't devalue or deflate the currency, then we probably wouldn't need inflation, which would allow the consumer to keep their 2% of their purchasing power per year. But since we live in a system where the monetary policy is fiat currency, we can and have to have inflation at 2%, which inevitably allows us to steal 2% of your money per year. He won't say that, but I wish he did. But that's actually what's going on in the background in his head. But yeah, he's going to say target inflation is 2%. No need for rate cut, no need for rate increase. The economy's strong, blah, blah, blah. And then we'll continue to say the economy is strong even if the market's going through a downturn because the Federal Reserve does not get economic data fast enough to supersede or to get ahead of any storm or to beat a market downturn. They're always late. So when the Federal Reserve says that you're in a recession, the market's already tanked, right? And then when the Federal Reserve says that you're out of recession, the market's already been starting to bounce. So the best time to buy is going to be before the best time to sell or get short or, you know, kind of start, you know, doing some things, shifting your portfolios is going to be before the Federal Reserve says there is a recession or we're in a bad economic downturn. And the time to buy and start readjusting your portfolio again, if we do go into a bad time, not if, but when, you're going to want to start buying before the Fed says anything, because the Fed inevitably is not I can't think of the word. Anyways, they're never ahead of the storm at the end of the day. Okay. Can I check PLCE? We went over PLCE. Any idea why Amazon is just dying? You know what? I believe someone can correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm sure some of you knows, but Mr. Cousin, I'm pretty sure Amazon lost their $10 billion contract to the government, and I think they were blaming it on Trump. I'm pretty sure that's something I read. But either way, losing a $10 billion contract should not cause your stock to get smoked. Maybe, just maybe, anybody else here think that just maybe, no, just me because I'm the only one in the room? Okay, just me. All right, it's just Connor here. All right, just possibly. When we look at like a 20-year chart, let's do like a 20-year month, just possibly. When we look at this Amazon, well, that doesn't look as good. Let's do like a week. Just possibly that somebody thinks, other than me, that Amazon is a bubble. Maybe that's it. Maybe for once, somebody's actually saying Amazon's a bubble other than me. Just like everything. Hold on. Let's look at all the bubbles. Remember, this is what literally, it's the simplest way to tell if you're in a bubble. Everyone's like, we're not in a bubble. It's like, no, we're definitely in a bubble. Like, definitely in a bubble. Ready? Watch. There's Netflix. Like this is Google. I mean, even like AMD skyrocketed. What about, like Roku? That's not even Roku, but like Roku. Roku's kind of early. You could look at Apple. You could look at Facebook. The list honestly goes on, right? Like, wait till Facebook comes up. Come on, load internet. There you go, shop. Some of these examples aren't the greatest, but if you look at a good handful or a good majority of your stocks, they're all somewhat in a bubble formation, right? And if you don't know what a bubble looks like, it's pretty easy to figure out. We'll just pull it up. Now again, not all of these stocks are going to be in bubbles, but when you look at everything as a whole, pretty much we've bubbled as an economy, right? We have peaked. We have gone through the good times, right? We have roared. So I'm just going to pull this up for you guys. All right, images. Damn it. Yeah, so here we go. If we were to pull up, this is just Google, right? You just look at Google here. So you want to see a bubble? That. This is a bubble. Like this picture. This is pretty much a bubble. All right. Thing just goes straight up, right? And then this is exactly when I was, again, pretty much the whole world. Anybody who actually knew even the slightest little bit about investing or trading knew that Bitcoin was a bubble when it was happening, right? And majority of the world aren't investors and aren't traders, so they don't know this, right? And there's not enough of us educated investors and traders to go around and tell the world that it's a bubble, and for enough of them to listen to outweigh on their own greed, right? So you had people getting refinancing their houses. You had people closing out their savings account to buy Bitcoin because they thought they were going to be rich. And some of them made money, but again, that's a bubble, right? Goes up, crashes. It's very, very common. So take a look at this chart here with whatever it's called, Bitcoin, right? And then let's go look at Shopify, right? Let's go look at Amazon. All right. The greatest thing about a bubble is you never know how long it's going to go, and you never know exactly when it's going to pop. But as soon as it starts doing it, you're like, yeah, no shit, it's a bubble. So that's where we're at. I believe we're an economy and in a system where everything is overinflated. We have inflated life so much, right? I have friends that drive these crazy nice cars, and it's like, dude, that car is sick. but I know where you work and I know what I do, and there's no way you make more than I make. Not a chance now. And I don't even have that. I don't even want to try to afford that. It's not worth it. So it's like, I know we live in I see it between my friends. I see it between my neighbors. I see it every single day. We live in a system where people don't have what they actually have. They don't own what they think they own. They are built up off of debt, and debt is a house of cards. It's like a little stack of cups, paper cups or cards. Once you flick it the wrong way, once you rub it the wrong way, it all comes crashing down. Know what you can't break down very easily? For example, it's much easier for a house that is built out of the cheapest items to blow over, but it's not going to be hard to knock down a brick house. A house of cards or a house of bricks, right? Someone who lives their life financially stable with money in the bank account, who doesn't over leverage themselves on a lot of debt unless it's producing income, those people are stable, and it's going to be hard to knock them off their feet even during a bad downturn, because what they have is legitimate. What they have is in fact theirs. They are not built off of nothing. They don't live over thin ice, right? That's anybody who drives around in fancy cars that can't afford them. That's for anybody who has loans on their houses, who still has a tough time affording. If you have 2 houses, 2 loans, right? When you do that, all you're doing is just living over top of thin ice. And if that ice cracks, right, and you cannot hold yourself up, you're going to sink, right? And you're going to get crushed. And that's the current system and world we live in. And it's partly due to, what did we say earlier, Connor? What was the fiat currency system? Our currency is nothing. Like, what's mind-blowing is nobody has a clue what is going to happen to the American dollar at some point. I mean, I hope it's never in my life. I mean, there's so much to it. I hate to say it, but I don't think the U.S. dollar isn't strong at all. There's reasons why the U.S. dollar is strong, and the only reason the U.S. dollar is actually strong, and the only reason countries even use the U.S. dollar is because it is the world superpower dollar, the world reserve currency. If it wasn't the world reserve currency, our dollar would crash. Your dollars would be worth nothing. Your gallon of milk would be like, I don't even fucking know, $30, $20, who knows? It would be so expensive, you'd lose your shit. Guarantee it. And so you guys should all start looking into why I've been saying buy gold and silver for the past couple of years, and no one seems to believe me, and why you should look into China trying to become the next world reserve currency through cryptocurrency. Yeah, China, there's rumors. Now, again, they're rumors, but who cares if they're rumors or not? Because at the end of the day, it makes total sense, right? China already has a stronger economy. Anybody who doesn't think that, I mean, China, if not stronger, or even if it's a little bit less stronger than the U.S. in terms of economic-wise, they're so close that it doesn't even matter. They're basically our biggest competitor, right? You know, like back when LeBron James was on the Cavaliers and the Oklahoma City Thunder had their amazing team, we already knew who was going to the finals every single year. It was them, right? Until that chain broke, right? It's always going to be America or the United States and China going head-to-head in the finals. At least for now, right? At least for now. And you better believe your competitor is always going to try to beat you, right? And you can't win forever. I mean, you can, but it's very, very unlikely that the top dog will win forever and never be overthrown by the underdog. I mean, that is just stupidity, right? So China is definitely talking about going to a gold. Wait, hold on. Let me rephrase that. They're talking about going to a world reserved blockchain cryptocurrency. And if they do that, there's going to be no need for all these other countries to hoard and have U.S. dollars, which will cause the U.S. dollar to crash. And when the U.S. dollar crashes, and that's the strongest world reserve currency, one thing is for sure, gold is going to fly. So why have I been buying gold and silver for so long? Because I do anticipate at some point in my lifetime, U.S. dollar is no longer going to be the world reserve superpower or currency, and it's going to fly. Also, what has Connor been saying for the past year and a half, 2 years? You know, I do like cryptocurrency. I understand it's going to be here to stay. I don't know for sure which one is going to be the ultimate cryptocurrency to buy, but what I do know is that a cryptocurrency that is here to stay and does become the one will inevitably be backed by gold. So that's why I'm buying gold, because it takes a part of the guessing game out. I don't know which cryptocurrency is going to be great, but I do know that whatever one does become great, it will most likely have a direct tie to gold. And what do you know? China is talking about having a world reserve cryptocurrency backed by gold, and they've been buying gold like crazy for the past years. They have, I think it's like 200, is it 200 tons or 2,000 tons? I don't even know. The amount of gold they have is just mind-blowing, and they've been buying it like crazy, unheard of numbers. You wouldn't be buying gold on that sort of level unless you're trying to make a move, right? And so that's what I'm doing. So hope you guys learned something a little bit from this video. Hope you learned something new. I got to run, got to get back to our private group. So everybody take care, have a great day, and I'll see you guys all on the next stream.